For this month's reading for you guys. I saw this image of this woman. You know those area rugs that we have in our house? They're really hard to clean thoroughly, okay? And the traditional way in which people clean the rug is they take it outside and they beat it. They beat out all the dust. They could even rinse it with like a power hose. Okay, that way to that's the only way I feel to really get all the dirt, all the grime out of the area rug. Vacuuming over it can only remove the surface stain. It doesn't really do any type of deep cleaning. So I see this woman hauling, like pulling and pulling the area rug. It's really big. She pulls it out and then she puts it on this industrial like clothesline, and she takes like sticks and then she beats it, and then this giant cloud of dust just comes out, and she keeps going at it, and after a while the cloud gets smaller and smaller and smaller, the cloud of dust, and then she gets the power hose and then she like thoroughly just sprays at it, and she keeps spraying and spraying until the water runs clear. Okay, so that indicates to me some type of a massive deep cleaning is potentially happening in your life, or needs to happen in your life, in a certain area of your life. And it's almost like a major purging process to get all the dirt, all the grime, all the stain, to do some really deep, thorough fixing and cleaning in some area. And then she puts it's already on that industrial, really strong, like super fortified clothesline, and she hangs it and the sun is out, so it's going to dry on its own. And the other image that I saw is, I saw this boat, and it looks like a cartoon type of a scene. There's a waterway, there's like a lake or something, and the boat has a lot of lanterns in it, and it's all lit up. And it's coming closer and closer and closer to shore. And so it seems like there's some type of festivity, some type of a gala, some type of an event on the boat. I don't see people dancing, but they're dressed pretty nicely, and all the lanterns are lit up, so it seems like something that's like a really fun, festive activity. And the boat comes to shore, it docks, and then all the elegant people from the boat, they come towards the land. So I feel with that image, it almost seems like, it just feels to me like a homecoming. It feels to me like, you know, the journey is over. Now we're on to land, we're on to solid ground. Things are a little bit safe, a lot safer, a lot more stable, a lot more predictable. Okay, so based off those two images for you guys, what I'm feeling is, I feel like, you know, the worst of it is done and over with. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. And I feel like you're able to reach this light at the end of the tunnel, mainly because of your doing, of your ability to purge yourself of things that are no longer serving you, ways of doing, ways of thinking, ways in which many of you have held on to situations and things from your past. Okay, I'm getting an image of somebody being a little bit of a hoarder or a pack rat, somebody needing to like get rid of their possessions and their belongings that they've hoarded since they were, you know, an infant, since they were really young. And I'm also seeing like many of you having a lot of emotional attachments to things, objects, places, and people. And if those experiences have been very positive, then you want to hang on to them, and that's great. But if those experiences have been quite negative, and I feel like they might have been quite negative, you hang on to them, and they really weigh you down. They weigh you down in terms of affecting your self-esteem. They weigh you down by, you know, miring you in a lot of self-doubt. Like, am I worthy? Am I capable? Am I able to move on past this? And I do feel many of you, you know, possibly carrying that around as a security blanket, okay? And one of the reasons why people do that is they carry this security blanket around that might not be entirely positive in an effort to tell themselves, like, I knew it, I shouldn't have done it because nothing works out. I should have trusted my gut instinct and not have done that because, it's always going to blow up in my face. So it's almost like that security blanket as an excuse to not try new things. That security blanket as an excuse to tell yourself, I'm a failure. I'm not worthy of new things, or I'm not worthy of all these blessings that are coming into the picture for me. And I want you to be very, very careful because I feel like many of you, cancers are typically very, 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 very shy people. And I also feel like, many of you, you have a social facade that you put on, okay? You like to be liked. And there's nothing wrong with that. We always love to be accepted and to be looked up to and to be liked by other people. And I also feel like many of you, you have a very, you have a way about you where you put people at ease, okay? And you're almost like an emotional and also a social chameleon where you kind of blend in with your environment as well. And I'm bringing this up because I feel like you like to be liked and you are very easy to talk to for a lot of people. You're also very nice, very caring, very genuine, and you don't want to see anybody left out. So if you're in a social setting, for example, you want everyone to feel included. So you try to engage everybody in that social context so that no one feels left out, because you're very, very sensitive to if the shoe were on the other foot and you're in a new social environment and you don't want to be left out. You would want to be included and you would want people to be inclusive towards you. But I also feel like, that really nice social facade. And I feel like many of you, you have a really good heart. But I feel like it comes out in the more of the facade way, where you might bend over backwards and accommodate and do a lot of things for people, especially if they are not deserving of it, okay? And so this whole purging process, okay? I don't need to please anybody, okay? I'm a nice person. I don't need to go out of my way, bend over backwards to prove anything to anybody. I don't need to constantly, look for other people to validate what I feel about myself. And I especially don't need that attention from other people in order for me to accept who I am. So I feel like this process of shedding the old skin, the old way of doing, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and seeing you for your authentic self without the self-doubt, without all of that negative self-talk from the past, the need to please, the need for validation, and the need to, live up to a certain ideals and really, really high expectations that you set for yourself. And you're able to reach it, but every time you're a little bit closer and closer to reaching the apex, you kind of lose momentum, lose steam, lose self-confidence. Okay, this can be, really liking somebody, really, really wanting to make an offer towards a person, like a crush, or somebody just you have really strong feelings for. And I feel like once, you're like, I'm gonna do it, and you work yourself up to the point where you're just like, I'm gonna do it. You start approaching the person. And then as soon as you get close to the person, I see like, you get tongue-tied, you get nervous, you get really, really weak in the knees. And it has nothing to do with the other person's reaction towards you. It's just you talk yourself out of doing things that are actually really, really good for you, okay? So I see a purging process, I see a cleansing, and then I also see reaching that light at the tunnel where you're able to see your authentic self. So it's really, really beautiful. One of the things that I want you to be very careful about, and the 2 5s came out first, so I want to talk about them, okay? You have great cards, by the way, just let me put that out there. First of all, 5 of Wands. This is a lot about conflict, and it is internal in nature, okay? Internal conflict being the tug of war, the push and pull. On the one hand, We want to hold back. We want to take care of ourselves. We want to preserve our attention, our energy, our time for ourselves, because many of you have big goals, big dreams that you want to materialize, okay? But you're also looking at it like that mountain in front of this man. It's so high. It's covered in trees. There are no clear paved roads. So it's almost like hitting a certain milestone in your life where you want to do big things, but these things, these ideals have never been trailblazed before. No one has done it before. You might not have the proper guidance, you might not have the map, you might not feel like you have the proper mentorship or the right preconditions to allow you to tackle such an to tackle such a great task. Okay, so there's no roadmap. Everything is just a little bit like daunting. Like, how do I get to the top of the mountain? I'm right here. There are no trails. It has never, it's like virgin land. It has never been explored. It has never been touched. And you're a little bit scratching your heads like, how do I do that? So I feel many of you have really, really big goals and big dreams and big gel and start to culminate. And the path, one step at a time, will start to kind of clear up for you. Okay? So what I'm feeling is, on the one hand, you want to preserve time, energy, resources in order to build on and to really the give yourself permission even to explore this new virgin land, this new big dream that you have. And on the other hand, there are so many demands from so many people asking for your time, asking for your resources. And so I definitely feel this push and pull energy about you. Like, when do I hold back? When do I stop saying yes to other? When do I stop, like leaking my energy towards other people and then feeling exhausted energetically, financially, even just in every way possible, doing and bending over backwards for a lot of people. And at the end of the day, you feel like I don't even have anything left for myself. So that's what I'm sensing here. You're giving away a lot. You have been giving away a lot of your time, a lot of your resources, a lot of your energy that you don't have. And I feel like you need to really, really draw back, focus on these big dreams that you're trying to accomplish for yourself so that you can keep this vision in the center of your mind and you don't lose sight of it. Many of you are afraid to say no to people because you feel like saying no to them might make them feel like you're either being stingy, you're either being unfair or selfish. God forbid. You don't want them to think that of you. But I feel like it gets to the point where we all need to draw back our energies and start to learn to take care of ourselves. And especially if we have big goals, big dreams, we need to really focus on that. We need to really focus on the research. We need to focus on that vision, how to achieve it. And we don't really have the time and the energy to waste on other things when we have these things clearly in alignment with us, okay? It's not about being selfish. It's about being smart. And I feel like many of you are struggling with this energy. How much do I give to myself? If I say no, if I pull back my energy, my generosity, my resources, will people think of me differently? Will they talk behind my back? Will they say I'm selfish or stingy or whatever it is? It doesn't really matter, but I know that it does affect you. So it's easier said than done, but I know that it does affect you. What people feel about you and think about you really, really, really deeply affect you on a very heartfelt level. And I would just say that you've been nothing but sweet and generous and loving to other people. And I feel like it's time for you to turn your back on a few people, especially if they've been kind of milking it, and especially if they have been combative and not cooperative with you. Okay, so the 2 5s, I feel like somebody's energy comes in like this. I'm getting like the word home wrecker is usually associated with third parties, but I feel like this is someone who's a little bit destructive, whose behaviors is, when unchecked, can be very catastrophic, who might have like a very perverse way of doing things, or a very careless, impulsive, as well as lack of direction or lack of a strong sense of morality. Okay, I'm seeing the smoke, and the smoke, it blows with the wind. So it's somebody without a strong sense of self. They just kind of flop out there, and trying to find themselves, and they might gravitate towards the wrong people. They might experiment with the wrong things. They might have very dubious sense of morality, and I feel like some of you might have been giving a lot of your time and generosity trying to guide this person or trying to help this person, but it gets to the point where your advice, your counsel falls on deaf ears. They're going to do what they're going to do. And I feel like their presence or their influence might not be the best for you to be around energetically. So we have to learn to pull back a little bit, and we have to learn to take care of our own emotional and mental, peace. Okay? And it's okay to do that. So that's the first energy here. The other thing that's coming into the picture is many of you might have spent a lot of time. I'm hearing like barking up the wrong tree, socializing, wanting to be, included. And you spend a lot of time, a lot of energy arranging for like, group outings, happy hour, wanting to be a part of a community, wanting to be a part of a social group. And you feel like, the only way is to take charge. Like, let me be the one to get everybody together. And you're very good at that. So like I said, you have this social facade about you. Deep down, I feel like, you like good company. But I also feel like that social facade comes out when you want to be included. And you might be the one behind the scenes arranging all of these, social gatherings and things like that. And I feel like a lot of your attention, your time, resources as well could be funneled towards that. Okay, Three of Cups is generally a very, very good card. It's a very, very good card. But it can indicate a little bit of superficiality if we're not careful. So a lot of time, a lot of resources, and a lot of energy might be dumped in this avenue with the people that might not be deserving. And so it's okay for you to pull back, and it's okay for you to really do whatever it is that you need to do on the practical end to get your big plans and big dreams moving along. All right? We have two aces here, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but I do sense as well that you have somebody that is really, really interested in you, okay? And it's coming from your friendship circle. Big friendship circle vibe. Somebody has great, 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 great feelings for you. It comes up here in the Ace of Cups. And I'm feeling this is somebody who is a little bit socially awkward, okay? They're very serious-minded. So it's like they don't really know how to lighten up. And you might have, and this is how you know who this person might be. So like they can be like social, but I feel like deep down they're very introverted. And then I also feel like they keep to themselves. They keep their own counsel. They don't really share a lot. And I feel like this is somebody who has been through the ringer. They have been through a lot. And so they're a little bit introverted. They find it hard to socialize because when you have been through a lot, and then you go out and socialize and people are really talking about, very frivolous things or very minor issues, what I call like first world problems. That person feels like they can't really relate. And I feel like they go to these functions in the hopes that you would be there. They don't really enjoy putting themselves in the spotlight or in an environment where they have to mingle and socialize. But I feel like they do it because they are hoping to catch a glimpse of you or to run into you or to be around you. And so I do feel like they really, really like you. And I feel like the communication between the two of you might be a little bit strained because when you interact with them, they tend to, so let's say you're at a bar and everyone's having fun, and when you interact with them, they err on the side of heavier, more serious topics. So I say like socially awkward because in an environment where people are socializing and just having, really lighthearted conversation, this person is so serious that they bring the energy down. Not that they're a bad person, they're just so serious. That pentacles on his head. It's like all conversations are very, very serious, or very, very heavy, and you just want to socialize, you just want to have fun, you just want to, have light-hearted conversations and interaction, and this person is kind of like that Debbie Downer. And I feel like they really feel a certain way about you, and you might not even be aware of how they've been going through such great lengths to be in your presence. You're not aware. I feel like you've got your back turned. They're going through such great lengths to be in your presence, and I feel like their love is very, very real, because just imagine somebody who's like this serious offering their love. It is real, it is sincere, and it is definitely worth exploring. I would say many of you are coming out of this tunnel of light, like out of the dark tunnel into the light. So you might have recently like broken up and you're now single. You want to socialize, and there will be opportunities for massive amount of dating. Okay. And I feel like you might have a lot of options, but there's definitely somebody here catching your, somebody who is really captivated by you. They're definitely more serious. I would say probably a little bit older than you by like about 3 years, 5 years is what I'm sensing. I have two threes, two fives. Three of Cups, Three of Wands, Five of Swords, Five of Wands. So I feel like there's somebody who might be a little bit older than you by possibly 3 years or 5 years. And I feel like they feel like you're the one. They feel like you're the one. They feel like, you have that sensitivity about you where, like I said, they've been through a lot, but when they talk to you, they feel comfortable. They feel like you never judge them. And water signs in general never ever show judgment or judge others, or ever show like disbelief, skepticism or disbelief when someone tells you a very serious traumatic story. I feel like you just take it in, and because of that, people feel really comfortable naturally sharing a lot of information with you. If you find this person opening up and sharing information with you, I feel like that's because they're looking to, make this really, really big offer towards you. So I feel like this is if you're socializing, there will be a lot of options. There's also one person in particular that I feel is going to make this unexpected offer to you. And it's going to be, you're going to feel like, wow, I've really captured this person's imagination. Or, whatever you've been waiting on, the boat is coming in. Okay, so the boats are in. Three of Wands. Waiting for the opportunity. When it comes to the big love or the great love, I feel like that offer is going to be in. You have quite a few people that are interested, and they're in the picture. And I also see you here reciprocating. Okay, so I feel like you're going to have some people that you've been eyeing that will be making an offer, and then I do feel the offer is going to be reciprocated. So the period of waiting with this hangman is no longer it's no longer a problem. Okay, so we're heading towards that light at the end of the tunnel where the boats come in, like that boat with the lanterns on it. And I just see like opportunities for festivities, opportunities for outing, opportunities for really, really extravagant and romantic getaways that are just really right up your alley, okay? Because I see like some very visually appealing places, locations, like just if someone tells you, hey, I've got us tickets to do this, and you're just like, wow, that sounds magical. Like something very magical, some type of an outing or socializing event or something is very, very magical. And I feel like it's going to unfold for you. And I see you almost like that anxious little kid who couldn't go to sleep because the next day he's going to Disneyland. That's what it feels like to me, but it has a more romantic slant to it, okay? Needless to say, we have as well Ace of Pentacles. This is a new job. This is a new enterprise, as well as a new income generating opportunity. It's going to be coming into the picture for you. I see many people escalating, going towards like promotions, okay? Like I'm seeing this step ladder, like going up a notch when it comes to your income generating potential. I'm also seeing for many of you, if you have been out of commission, so if you are like, for example, a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home dad, you're returning to the work environment, okay? So the transition, it's going to work out really, really well. But you know, anytime we let our skills lie dormant, so if you've been a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad and you've been away from the labor force for quite some time, you're going to get a little bit rusty, okay? So don't beat yourself up over it. If you feel like things are happening so fast that you can't keep up, or you feel like technology has changed, or if you feel like you're dealing with so many systems, so many expectations, so many systems, procedures, and just processes, don't feel bad. You're going to be okay. You just need to flex those muscles and kind of like break away from that rust, and then things will start to flow automatically, because you do have a very intuitive sense of knowing to do the right thing at the right time, like a divine sense of timing. So it's going to take some time for you to get over that initial hurdle, especially when it comes to new work, okay? But either way, there's going to be a work situation coming into the picture. Many of you might have been wanting to leave a bad work situation for some time. A situation where you don't feel that sense of connection with the people that you work with. You feel like you have to guard yourself or keep yourself on guard with those people, okay? And so you're shifting into a different work environment where people are nicer, they're less combative and more cooperative. They're nice, they help one another, and the environment is not cutthroat, or the environment is not gossipy, or the environment overall is just a lot more amicable, okay? I'm also seeing as well, for those of you who might have children and then you're like dealing with, you know, the baby's mother or the baby's father, there's going to be some type of a amicable. So if things have been really problematic, if there has been, you know, perceived like hostilities or jealousies and things like that regarding, you know, our exes, and then especially like if we have children with them, it's always very difficult to co-parent, okay? It's very, very difficult. But I feel like there is going to be some type of a truce, some type of a resolution, some type of a peace agreement to make the situation a lot more amicable. So there's an ironing out or smoothing out of major relationships in your life in general that I'm seeing for this month. So both of these are very, very, very beautiful, okay? And they're pointing in different directions. And what I'm feeling is some of you might be thinking about blending the two, blending love with money-making activities. So like somebody you might be in a relationship with, you're like, you know what? I have this great business idea. Why don't we, you know, partner up? And then I'm also sensing as well lots of attraction in a new work environment. If you're changing jobs, new work comes first, new money comes first, and then the new love is going to be as well coming into the picture. So you have some beautiful, beautiful, or we have shifted into the time of Pisces, which is a compatible sign. It's a fellow water sign, so the energy is very compatible for you guys, Cancers. So You have some good things that are going to be coming into the picture. I would say get the new work situation, let that sort itself out. If you're jumping into a new environment, keep your nose to the grindstone. Don't, go out too much and socialize with coworkers. You need to know, like anytime we're in a new work environment, and we need to kind of know the pecking order, what I like to call the pecking order first before we jump in and socialize. Because I feel like strategically, it's the smart thing to do. Okay? So don't get too involved with the coworkers. Don't get, especially, office romances and get wrapped up in the office politics. But it is really smart for us to kind of get the lay of the land, know the pecking order, know who to come to for advice, know who to avoid. And we always have those people in the office environment that might be gossips too, so you don't want to reveal too much. You guys are very friendly, very sociable. You want to be liked, and you want to just jump in and just, make a splash and be very social. But I feel like there are things here that's really telling you, focus on this first, okay? Focus your energy on this. Keep yourself a little bit more closed off. Mainly because I feel like if you're out there trying to make offers, trying to make a splash, it might not be the best move just yet, okay? So get the lay of the land. Understand the who's where on that totem pole before you choose who to ally yourself with or align yourself with. For those who are still emailing me about private readings, believe it or not, I'm still getting these emails. If you're interested in booking a reading for yourself, I have somebody that I highly, highly recommend. Her name is Bridget. She is a psychic out of California. I've included a link to her scheduling website. You can find that below in the description box. If you'd like to book a reading for yourself, I highly recommend her, and she's amazing. And I've used her services. I've also, for like the past 2 years, and I've also recommended a lot of my friends and family members to use her, and they've been really, really satisfied with her reading. She's phenomenal, so I highly recommend her. So Cancers, I wish you the best, okay? I'm really happy to see this for you, and I hope that the second half of the month will bring you much more blessings as well. So take care of yourself.